Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to this explainer where we're going to unpack a truly massive news cycle from early August 2026. Literally over just a single weekend, the artificial intelligence industry experienced this wild convergence of staggering new capabilities, unimaginable cash flows, and honestly some very sobering real-world consequences. We are looking at a pivotal moment in what we can comfortably call the AI maturation phase. I'm thrilled to guide you through this, so let's get right into it.
So, is AI getting safer or just exponentially more expensive? I want you to keep this tension right in the back of your mind as we go through the information today. We are seeing absolute science fiction level capabilities rolling out at breakneck speed, right? But the industry realities behind the scenes, well, they paint a much more complicated picture of where this technology is actually heading.
Here's our roadmap for today. 1. The sudden explosion in voice AI. 2. The global frontier race. 3. The industry's safety deficit. And 4. The AI infrastructure powering it all.
1. The voice AI explosion.
Practically overnight, voice AI became the most legally and competitively active frontier in the entire tech sector. Now, what's really interesting about this comparison is the stark contrast in strategy between close partners right now. OpenAI openly released their GPT-Live continuous voice architecture. They prominently featured DeepMind's SynthID audio watermarking and launched provenance detection right through their API. It's a very public, safety-forward launch. Meanwhile, hidden away in Microsoft's MAI playground, researchers surfaced MAI Real-Time. This is a first-party, quietly tested competitor featuring 2 voices, Victoria and Grant, and it supports 17 languages. There's no public launch date, just this massive multi-language deployment happening quietly behind the scenes.
To really grasp this leap forward, we have to talk about full duplex architecture. Forget the old walkie-talkie style where you speak, pause, and wait for the AI to reply. This is bidirectional, and it's continuous. Both OpenAI's GPT-Live and Microsoft's MAI Real-Time use this to delegate complex reasoning to larger models, like GPT 5.5, mid-conversation, completely without those annoying turn-taking pauses. It feels like a real human conversation, which absolutely changes how we interact with our devices. And they aren't alone here. xAI also just launched Grok Voice ThinkFast 2.0 to compete in this exact space, making it the new default API route by August 5th.
But why did OpenAI rush to integrate SynthID watermarking this specific weekend? Well, because immediate regulation is shaping the tech in real time. The EU AI Act's audio provenance rules officially took effect on August 2nd, 2026. Driven by major, totally understandable concerns over deepfakes, the law now mandates watermarks on generated audio. This effectively forced the hand of major developers, meaning the law and the technology are now racing neck and neck.
2. The global frontier race.
Elon Musk's xAI is on a completely wild trajectory right now. In mid-July, they dropped Grok 4.5, running on a massive 1.5 trillion parameter foundation. Now, Musk has confirmed Grok 4.6 is expected by mid-August, and Grok 4.7 just 2 weeks after that. That is an absolutely blistering, near-monthly release cycle for frontier-class trillion-parameter models.
And this brilliantly illustrates how the balance of global power has noticeably shifted. Looking at the top 10 most used models from mid-July, 6 of the top 10 came from Chinese companies like Tencent, Minimax, and DeepSeek, who, by the way, just put their V4 Flash into public beta. Industry insiders are calling this the DeepSeek moment. Chinese models like Moonshot's Kimi K3 are now matching the coding and reasoning performance of US heavyweights like GPT 5.6 Sol and Claude Fable 5, but often at just a fraction of the cost.
This brutal competition is rapidly accelerating the commoditization of AI. OpenAI is framing ultra-low-cost inference as the next great industrial shift, literally akin to the electrification of industry itself. The goal is to make frontier intelligence so affordable that it basically becomes an invisible utility. This means the software we use every single day is about to get wildly smarter without costing a premium. And we're seeing this pricing war play out everywhere. Anthropic is concurrently ending the introductory pricing for their Sonnet 5 model, bumping it to a standard rate, while completely retiring their older Opus 4.1 model to force developer migration.
3. The industry's safety deficit.
Let's slow down for a second, because the Future of Life Institute just published their Summer 2026 Safety Index, grading 9 major AI companies across 37 indicators. And the results? They're sobering. The absolute highest score awarded was merely a C+, which went to Anthropic. OpenAI and Google DeepMind received a C, Meta got a D+, and 3 major developers, xAI, DeepSeek, and Mistral, received outright failing marks. So,
The crucial point is summarized directly by the reviewers themselves. They explicitly flagged the industry's pivot toward military AI and a broad retreat from earlier safety commitments. Along with a lack of independent audits, this is impartially what the evaluators are observing across the board as the race for capabilities accelerates.
However, to give you a fully balanced view of the lab's current priorities, we also have to look at the philanthropic initiatives running parallel to these safety deficits. Google DeepMind just backed a $10 million call for multi-agent safety research. They also partnered with Isomorphic Labs on a massive bioresilience program for pathogen surveillance and vaccine design. Meanwhile, Anthropic just closed applications for $50,000 grants targeting rare genetic disease research, and DeepMind CEO Demis Hassabis is publicly calling for an international standards body. So active, positive work is happening, even as the core safety grade slid.
4. Powering the AI infrastructure. $24.8 billion. Just take a second to wrap your head around that number. That is Google Cloud's Q2 revenue alone. It represents a massive 82% year-over-year surge, the strongest growth they've seen in recent quarters. And because of this incredibly supply-constrained environment, Alphabet just raised its total 2026 capital expenditure forecast to an astounding $205 billion just to build enough data centers.
And if that wasn't staggering enough, consider this absolutely unprecedented milestone. Microsoft Azure just crossed $100 billion in annual revenue. The market is pricing in absolute acceleration here, which drove a massive post-earnings stock rally from Microsoft. Of course, all that computing power requires silicon, right? AMD is expecting data center revenue to hit roughly $6.5 billion for Q2. That is over 100% year-over-year growth. Analysts believe AMD has successfully transitioned from a simple GPU supplier into a full-stack rack-scale AI system provider, driven heavily by their MI350 chips and Helios rack orders. But it's not just the traditional cloud giants cashing in. This matters because AI is no longer just powering chatbots, it's physically driving space exploration and national defense. In its very first public earnings report, SpaceX expects its AI segment revenue to jump from $818 million to roughly $2.2 billion. Meanwhile, Palantir beat their Q2 expectations entirely on the back of securing major U.S. government AI contracts, lifting broader market sentiment right along with it. So, it leaves us with this. When abundant, ultra-low-cost intelligence outpaces our safety frameworks, but simultaneously generates trillions of dollars in infrastructure wealth, what happens next? It's a high-stakes convergence of technology, capital, and regulation. Thank you so much for joining me to unpack it all, and I really hope this explainer leaves you eager to keep learning about the incredible shifts happening right in front of us.